The obesity crisis cost this country £27 billion a year, and the government's latest policy to tackle the problem is by making weight loss jabs available over an NHS app under new plans. So that's one side of this story. I always feel very sorry for the people that we use as floats on this, because you must recognise yourself in these pictures, mustn't you? Even though we cut the heads off, you know you are indeed the fatty in the picture. But 50,000 people could benefit from the new online clinics as hospitals are unable to keep up with the demand for injections. There's also hope for those struggling with alcoholism. And this really is the new bit. A new study on Macaw monkeys has found that an injection into the brain could reduce the amount that alcoholics drink by around 90%. Now, I think that really would be a monumental breakthrough. Joining me to discuss this further is pharmacist Thorrun Govind. Thorrun, thank you so much. I am a little bit more intrigued by the alcoholism jab than I am with the fat jab, just mainly because I think we've done that a couple of times already. So, a jab into the brain, it doesn't sound appealing, but to be fair, suffering the horrors of alcoholism doesn't sound appealing either. So, do you know a bit about this?
Let me break it down for you.
Okay.
So they've only done the tests at the moment on the monkeys. So as you know, with drug trials, we've got a long way to go before this ends up with humans. But this is a start in the right direction. So the injection into the brain could reduce the amount that alcoholics drink by about 90%, this study is saying. But, you know, early days, as you know, when we're developing drugs for humans, that takes many years to get to the stage where we actually provide them to humans, because we've got to do a lot of research on them. So the protein is basically it's delivered orally or by a normal jab. That's the idea. And what we saw, or what they saw in this study, is that there was this choice to drink water instead. Now, I think we've got a long way to go before this hits any pharmacy near you. But it's obviously a good conversation to have, because if you are excessively drinking, then obviously that is a concern.
No, absolutely. I mean, I know that a lot of people who work with alcoholics will probably say that alcoholism is a symptom of another problem, another issue, a life problem, potentially, and therefore maybe a jab itself wouldn't necessarily get to the root of the issue. I suppose it might help. I don't know if you know this, but in order to test that, did we have to get a load of monkeys addicted to booze?
So, as you know, with research, we have to do quite a lot behind the scenes before we even get to a stage where we test on humans. And then even with drug research, even when we get to the human stage, we give half the humans, or some of the humans, not the drug, a placebo, and then we give it to some of the humans. So there's all of that testing, which is a good thing, because we want to be in a stage where people are not going to be harmed when they actually come to take it. But as with all drugs development, the more it's in use, the more we learn about it, which is actually why we have this scheme where if we see any side effects of drugs or things which aren't quite right, we're, as healthcare professionals, we do report them to the MHRA, which are the regulatory body for drugs here, and they check up on some of the side effects that people experience. So yes, it's a long way forward, but it's definitely in the right way. Obesity. One in 4 of us in the UK are obese, aren't we? So I think it's concerning that we're getting to this stage of actually, we don't want to be giving people injections for obesity, but if that's where we are at, because people have tried a range of things, then that's another step in the right direction. But ultimately, this does come down to you've got to be thinking about your eating and your movement, regardless of whether you get prescribed these medications to help you with weight loss. And not all of them have nice side effects either. That's the other thing to think about.
Oh, God, very quickly then. So the fat jabs, what kind of side effects are we talking about there?
So you can get nausea, vomiting, that sort of thing, a common sort of side effects. Now, some of the other treatments for weight loss, for example, can result in farting, belching. Even this one, that's a common side effect. So it's not without its problems when you are having this medication, which is why we need to try and prevent people from getting to that stage in the first place.
Gosh, I mean, my partner will tell you that it sounds like I might have been on one of these jabs for a rather long time. But, Thorrun, thank you very, very much. Great to have you on the show. I love the way that you explain things for us. I hope to talk to you again very, very soon. It's Thorrun Govind there, who is a pharmacist. Yeah, a couple of game changers there. I think certainly the alcoholism one is worth further investigation, isn't it?